Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to English Beyond Words. I'm Mark, and today we're diving into something that affects millions of English learners worldwide. Have you ever been in a situation where you perfectly understood what someone said in English, but when it was your turn to respond, the words just vanished? You stood there, silent, frustrated, knowing exactly what you wanted to say in your head, but unable to get it out? Well, you're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common challenges English learners face. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens and, more importantly, how to fix it. But first, I want you to hear from 4 incredible people from different corners of the world. They all experience this exact same problem. They could watch movies, understand conversations, and follow along perfectly. But speaking? That was a completely different story. Each of them found their own breakthrough moment. And their stories might just be the key to unlocking your speaking confidence too. So let's hear from them. First story asterisk. Hey everyone, I'm Carlos, and I'm calling in from Buenos Aires, Argentina. For years, I consumed English content like crazy. Netflix series, YouTube channels, podcasts during my commute. I understood everything. I could even laugh at the jokes before the subtitles appeared. But here's the thing. When I tried to actually use English, my mind went blank. Complete silence. It was like my brain hit a wall. I remember one time at work, we had a video call with clients from the United States. I prepared everything. I wrote notes. I practiced in my head. But when they asked me a direct question, I panicked. My colleague had to jump in and answer for me. I felt so small. So frustrated. That night, I decided enough was enough. I discovered something called self-recording practice. Sounds simple, right? But it changed everything. Here's what I did. Every single day, I picked a topic. Something normal. My weekend plans. A movie I watched. What I ate for lunch. Anything. Then I grabbed my phone, hit record, and talked for exactly 2 minutes. No script. No preparation. Just me speaking out loud. The first recordings? Painful to listen to. I paused too much. I repeated the same words. My pronunciation was all over the place. But I kept going. And here's what happened. After a few weeks, I started noticing patterns in my mistakes. I realized I always struggled with past tense verbs. I always forgot articles like a and the. So I focused on those specific things. I listened to how native speakers use them. I practiced those exact sentences. 3 months later, we had another client call. And this time? I spoke clearly. I answered questions. I even made a small joke. My advice? Start recording yourself today. Don't wait. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a partner. Your phone is your best coach. Listen back, learn, improve, repeat. Trust me, it works. Second story asterisk. Hi, I'm Yuki from Tokyo, Japan. English was always my favorite subject in school. I got top grades. I understood my textbooks perfectly. I could read articles online without any problems. But speaking terrified me. Absolutely terrified me. Whenever someone tried to start a conversation in English, my throat would tighten. My palms got sweaty. I could feel my heart racing. The words were right there in my brain, but they refused to come out. I avoided English conversations for years because of this fear. Then one day, I stumbled upon a technique called echo practice. It sounded almost too simple. You listen to someone speak, and immediately after they finish, you repeat exactly what they said. Like an echo. I started with really short clips. Just 5 to 10 seconds from a podcast I liked. I'd play it, pause, then repeat the exact sentence. At the beginning, I felt ridiculous. I sounded robotic. My accent was thick. But something interesting started happening. After doing this for about a week, my mouth started remembering certain phrases. The movements became automatic. I wasn't thinking about each word anymore. I was just flowing. 2 weeks in, my confidence grew. I joined an online language exchange group. Super nervous at first. But when I started talking, the words came easier than ever before. The person I spoke with even complimented my natural rhythm. Me. The person who couldn't speak a sentence without freezing up. Now I do echo practice every single morning. Sometimes with news clips. Sometimes with TV show dialogues. Even just 15 minutes makes a huge difference. My message to you? Don't just passively listen. Actively echo. Your mouth needs training just like your ears do. Give it that training, and watch what happens. Third story asterisk. What's up, everyone? I'm Hassan from Cairo, Egypt. I grew up watching American movies and British TV shows. No subtitles needed. I understood every word, every reference, every punchline. My listening skills were excellent. But when it came to actual speaking? Disaster. The biggest problem? I was constantly translating in my head. Someone would say something in English, I'd translate it to Arabic, think of my response in Arabic, then try to translate it back to English. By the time I finished that whole process, the conversation had already moved on. People thought I wasn't paying attention. But I was. I was just stuck in translation mode. Then I learned about a technique I call the commentary method. Here's how it works. I started narrating my daily life in English. Out loud. Just simple descriptions. In the morning, I'd say, I'm stretching. Now I'm walking to the bathroom. The water is cold. I need to buy toothpaste. On my way to work, I describe what I saw. That car is blue. The street is crowded. Someone is selling fruit. It felt weird at first. Talking to myself like that. But after a few days, something clicked. I wasn't translating anymore. I was thinking directly in English. The gap between thought and speech got shorter and shorter. Now when someone asks me a question in English, my brain doesn't make that long journey to Arabic and back. It just responds in English automatically. Last month, I attended an international conference. I spoke with people from 6 different countries. And I kept up with every conversation. So my technique? Live your life in English. Narrate everything. Even if it's just in your head. Even if nobody's listening. Train your brain to think in English first, and speaking will follow naturally. Fourth story asterisk. Hello everyone, my name is Lucia, and I'm from Rome, Italy. I've been studying English since elementary school. Years and years of classes. I can read English novels. I understand documentaries. I follow complex discussions. But when it was my turn to speak, nothing happened. Complete mental block. The words existed in my vocabulary. I knew them. But they wouldn't come to my mouth when I needed them. One evening, I tried something different. I called it my mirror conversation method. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and started talking to my reflection in English. I pretended I was having a real conversation. I'd ask myself, "Hey Lucia, how was your day?" Then I'd answer, "It was good." I went to the market and bought fresh vegetables. I asked follow-up questions. I described my feelings. I talked about my plans. All while looking at myself. Why did this work? Because I could see my facial expressions. I could watch my mouth forming words. I could practice gestures. It made speaking feel more real. After 2 weeks of daily mirror talks, something beautiful happened. I stopped being self-conscious. I stopped judging every word before it came out. When I finally spoke English with a real person, it felt natural. Because I'd already done it hundreds of times with myself. Now I do my mirror talks every morning while getting ready. Sometimes for just 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes keep my English alive and active. My advice is simple. Don't wait for the perfect conversation partner. You already have one. Yourself. Talk to yourself every single day. And soon, talking to others will feel just as easy. Alright, so those are 4 amazing stories from 4 different people. 4 different techniques. But all leading to the same result, fluency. Now, let's dig deeper. Let's talk about the real reasons why you understand English perfectly but struggle to speak it. So here's the first big reason, and it's probably the most important one to understand. When you're listening to English, your brain is in receive mode. Think of it like this. You're sitting at a restaurant, and someone brings you a beautifully prepared meal. All you have to do is taste it, enjoy it, appreciate it. That's listening. But speaking? Speaking is like being the chef. You need to gather the ingredients, mix them in the right proportions, cook them at the right temperature, and serve them at the right moment. It's a completely different skill. When you listen, you're processing information. Your brain recognizes patterns, matches sounds to meanings, and builds understanding. It's receptive. It's comfortable. But when you speak, you're creating something from scratch. You need to access vocabulary, arrange grammar structures, coordinate your tongue and lips for pronunciation, and do all of this in real time while maintaining the flow of conversation. So the real truth here is this. You understand English because you've trained your input system. You've listened for hours, maybe years. But you haven't trained your output system. You haven't practiced producing the language. Your ears are strong. Your mouth needs practice. That's the gap. And the only way to close the gap is to start using your voice. Understanding is step 1. Speaking is step 2. You can't skip it. Now, let's talk about the second major reason, and this one is huge. It's psychological. Fear of judgment. So many learners are terrified of making mistakes. You worry about sounding foolish. You imagine people silently judging your accent. You're scared someone will correct you in front of others. This fear creates a mental barrier. Your brain literally blocks the flow of words because it's trying to protect you from embarrassment. But here's something you need to know. Making mistakes is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of learning. Every native speaker made thousands of mistakes as a child. And they still make mistakes today. Language is messy. It's human. It's imperfect. When you embrace mistakes instead of fearing them, your brain relaxes. The words start flowing. You stop overthinking every syllable. So give yourself permission to be wrong. Give yourself permission to sound awkward sometimes. That's how you grow. Perfection comes later. Communication comes first. The third reason is something I call the translation trap. Many learners process English like this. They hear a sentence in English. They translate it into their native language in their mind. They think of a response in their native language. Then they translate that response back into English before speaking. That's 4 steps. 4 mental steps for every single sentence. No wonder speaking feels slow and exhausting. Native speakers don't translate. They think directly in English. The thought and the words appear almost simultaneously. To break free from the translation trap, you need to start building an English thinking habit. How do you do that? Start small. Really small. When you wake up, describe your actions in English inside your mind. I'm opening my eyes. I'm feeling tired. I need water. When you're cooking, narrate the process. I'm chopping onions. The oil is heating. I'm adding salt. When you see something interesting outside, describe it. That dog is running fast. The sky looks cloudy. Someone dropped their phone. Do this every single day, even for just 2 or 3 minutes. Over time, your brain starts creating English thoughts automatically. You're building a direct connection between thinking and speaking. And when that connection gets strong enough, you'll stop translating. You'll just speak. Alright, here's another critical reason. Lack of speaking practice. This might sound obvious, but it's shocking how many people ignore it. You can study grammar for 10 years. You can watch 1,000 movies. You can read 50 books. But if you never actually speak, you won't become fluent. It's like learning to ride a bike by reading manuals and watching videos. Eventually, you have to get on the bike and pedal. Speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth, tongue, jaw, and vocal cords need training. They need muscle memory. If you only listen and read, those muscles stay weak. They don't know how to form English sounds quickly and smoothly. The solution? Speak every single day. Even if you're alone. Read sentences out loud. Talk about your day to yourself. Record voice messages to imaginary friends. Describe a picture you see online. It doesn't matter if nobody hears you. What matters is that your speaking muscles are working, strengthening, and getting faster. 5 minutes of actual speaking practice is worth more than an hour of silent studying. Remember that. Now let's talk about vocabulary depth. You might know thousands of English words. But knowing a word passively and using it actively are 2 different things. Passive knowledge means you recognize the word when you hear it or read it. Active knowledge means you can pull that word out of your memory and use it in a sentence when you need it. Most learners have strong passive vocabulary but weak active vocabulary. Why? Because they never practice recalling words under pressure. To turn passive words into active words, you need repetition and usage. When you learn a new word, don't just memorize the definition. Say it out loud 10 times. Use it in 3 different sentences. Write it down. Use it in a conversation if you can. The more you actively use a word, the faster your brain can access it during real conversations. Fluency isn't about knowing 10,000 words. It's about being able to use 1,000 words instantly, automatically, without hesitation. Quality over quantity. Usage over recognition. Let's move to the next reason, and this one might surprise you. Background listening. A lot of learners play English content while they're doing other things. Cooking, cleaning, exercising, working. They think, hey, at least I'm exposing myself to English. And yes, exposure helps. But passive background listening doesn't build speaking skills. Why? Because your brain isn't fully engaged. You're hearing sounds, but you're not actively processing meaning or practicing responses. If you want to improve speaking, you need focused listening sessions. Listen to a short clip, maybe 20 or 30 seconds. Really concentrate. Then pause and repeat what you heard. Try to copy the exact rhythm and intonation. This is called active listening, and it's 10 times more powerful than hours of background noise. Your brain needs full attention to build connections between hearing and speaking. Give it that attention, and you'll see progress much faster. Another reason? Speed mismatch. Your listening brain is fast. When someone speaks to you, you understand almost instantly. But your speaking brain is slower. It needs time to find words, structure sentences, and coordinate pronunciation. This creates frustration. You feel like you're lagging behind. Like you can't keep up with the conversation. But this is completely normal, especially in the beginning. Think of it like this. Your listening brain is a sprinter. It's been training for years. Your speaking brain is just starting to jog. Of course, there's a gap. The good news? The more you practice speaking, the faster your speaking brain becomes. Eventually, the gap shrinks. Understanding and responding start to feel smooth and natural. But you have to be patient with yourself during this phase. Don't expect your speaking to match your listening right away. Give it time. Give it practice. It will catch up. Now here's something important. Confidence. Even if you know the words, even if you understand the grammar, if you don't believe you can speak, you won't. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from taking action despite imperfection. Every time you speak English, even if it's just one sentence, you build a tiny bit of confidence. Those tiny bits add up. After 100 sentences, you feel stronger. After 1,000, you feel unstoppable. So don't wait until you're ready. You'll never feel completely ready. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Just start. The confidence will follow. Let's talk about another reason. Limited speaking opportunities. Maybe you live in a place where nobody speaks English. Maybe your friends and family don't speak it. Maybe you feel like you have no one to practice with. But here's the truth. You don't need a conversation partner to practice speaking. You can practice alone. And honestly, practicing alone is sometimes even better because there's zero pressure. Talk to yourself while you're alone at home. Pretend you're giving a presentation. Imagine you're ordering food at a restaurant. Role-play a job interview. You can even use your phone to create speaking challenges. Record yourself answering random questions. What did you do last weekend? What's your favorite hobby? Describe your dream vacation. Then listen back and notice where you struggled. That's where you focus your next practice session. You are your own best teacher when you take responsibility for your learning. Finally, let's talk about something that stops many learners: perfectionism. You want to sound like a native speaker. You want zero mistakes. You want perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect fluency. But perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait until everything is perfect before you speak, you'll never speak. Native speakers make mistakes constantly. They use incorrect grammar. They forget words. They stumble over sentences. And nobody cares. Because communication is about connection, not perfection. Your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to be understood. If someone understands your message, you succeeded. That's it. So lower your standards at the beginning. Speak simply. Use basic words. Make mistakes. Laugh at yourself. Keep going. Fluency is built through imperfect practice repeated consistently over time. So, my friend, if you understand English but can't speak it yet, I want you to know something important. You're not broken. You're not bad at languages. You're not hopeless. You're just at a specific stage in your journey. The input stage is complete. Now it's time for the output stage. And the output stage requires one thing above all else: practice. Real, consistent, active speaking practice. Not someday. Not when you're ready. Not when you find the perfect partner. Today. Right now. With whatever you have. Your voice is the key. Use it. So let me bring this all together for you. If you've been stuck in that frustrating place where you understand everything but can't speak, now you know why. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's not because you don't have talent. It's simply because understanding and speaking are two completely different skills, and you've only been training one of them. You've spent hours, maybe years, feeding your brain with English input. Listening to songs, watching videos, reading articles. And that's fantastic. That's the foundation. But now it's time to activate what you've learned. It's time to bring that knowledge from your mind to your mouth. And the beautiful thing is, you already have everything you need inside you. The vocabulary is there. The grammar structures are there. The understanding is there. All you need to do is give yourself permission to speak. Even if it's messy. Even if it's slow. Even if it's imperfect. Remember Carlos from Argentina? He started by recording himself for just 2 minutes a day. That's it. 2 minutes. And it transformed his speaking ability. Remember Yuki from Japan? She used echo practice. Just repeating short sentences after native speakers. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Remember Hassan from Egypt? He narrated his daily life in English. Out loud. In his head. Anywhere, anytime. And his brain stopped translating. Remember Lucia from Italy? She talked to herself in the mirror. No partner needed. Just her reflection, and her courage. 4 different people. 4 different methods. But the same core principle. They all started speaking, even when it felt uncomfortable. And that's what I'm asking you to do today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the perfect course. Don't wait for the perfect teacher or conversation partner. Start today. Right now. In whatever small way you can. Describe what you see around you. Talk about what you did yesterday. Express how you're feeling right now. Record it on your phone. Speak to your mirror. Narrate your morning routine. Just move your mouth. Just use your voice. Just take that first step. Because here's the truth. Every expert speaker you admire, every fluent person you look up to, they all started exactly where you are right now. They were scared. They made mistakes. They felt awkward. But they spoke anyway. And after days of speaking, they got a little better. After weeks, they got more confident. After months, they started flowing. After years, they became fluent. That journey is waiting for you too. But only if you start. So here's my challenge for you. Before you go to bed tonight, speak English out loud for just 3 minutes. That's all. 3 minutes. Talk about your day. Describe your room. Share your thoughts on this video. Anything. And tomorrow, do it again. And the next day. And the next. Build the habit. Build the muscle. Build the confidence. One sentence at a time. One day at a time. One conversation at a time. You've already done the hard part. You understand English. Now it's time to let it out. Your English is not meant to stay silent inside your head. It's meant to be heard. It's meant to be spoken. It's meant to connect you with the world. So speak it. Use it. Live it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of English Beyond Words. I'm Mark, and I truly believe in your potential. You're closer to fluency than you think. You just need to take that leap and start speaking. Keep practicing. Keep believing. Keep pushing forward. And remember, your voice matters. Let the world hear it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep speaking, keep growing, and keep going beyond words. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.